Inspiration is great. How do we get more of it? How do we find its source? Because it does have a source. And its source is a word that I've been hearing more lately. Now that neighbors and family members and others are really seeking to reach out and help one another, maybe a little bit more than ever. And that word is God. I know that word evokes something a little different in each one of us. When I use the word God, I'm not thinking of a superhuman figure that makes arbitrary decisions about our lives, that blesses some people but not others. Because the Bible, especially the New Testament, puts forward a view of God as divine love, just as love itself, or as infinite mind, the source of the ideas that I'm talking about today. God is a reliable presence that just shows us more of the good that's available to us. Well, this Bible-based notion of God as an infinite, reliable source of practical ideas is especially important these days when we're hearing reports not just of an epidemic and economic downturn or social injustice, but also what some folks are calling an infodemic. That's that kind of head-spinning avalanche of depressing news coming at us. How do we brace ourselves for that? Well, limiting social media can help, of course, but it's not the internet's fault. I mean, the infodemic isn't just what we hear about or read online. It's also in the depressing or limiting or repetitive, dull thoughts that we all seem to have to deal with. Thoughts like, my life feels like it's on hold right now. How long is this going to last? Thoughts like that don't take us very far. They don't have a deep source. They're mostly just reactions to the scene going on around us. They're not from God. Non-starter or depressing thoughts like that couldn't be from love itself. And they're not even innate to our own natural way of thinking, which comes entirely from God. And so I think that's why we intuitively know the difference when we get some spiritual inspiration. God's ideas do something. They move our lives forward in a way that the brain or willpower just can't. They have an energy to them. God's ideas are on a mission. I really like this concept. They're on a mission to, well, first, show us that we're loved, give us a bigger perspective, and show us how capable we are. They start by improving our health and giving us a better sense of dominion and that quiet spiritual authority that we all can have inside. And then they ripple out from there and enable us to impact our community. Let me give an example of that. This is an example of how a few new ideas enabled someone's life to be transformed and then enabled her to be a healer in her community.